Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving you guys some tips for how to move with a baby and how to help your baby adjust to their new house. This was actually a video request that I got from one of my patrons on Patreon, so shout out to Leslie May for requesting this video. I'm sure most, if not all of you guys know that we've recently moved, we purchased our first house, and I knew that my son, who's 9 months old, would probably have some challenges because his whole routine was getting uprooted and we were moving to a new space. And if you've been following along for a while, you know that sleep was quite the saga for us. So I didn't want to lose all of our sleep training. So I did a lot of research and I basically put together like a game plan of what we were going to do to help him adjust. And I'm very happy to say that it's worked out really well. 2 to 3 nights after we moved here, he was sleeping through the night again. He's taking long 2-hour naps. And I think that these things really helped with that. So I'll get right into it. The first tip that I have is to bring your baby into your new space as often as possible before you actually move. So if you can bring them to the tour where you go and see the house or the apartment or whatever it is that you're purchasing or renting. If you're buying a home, take them to the home inspection with you, take them to the final walkthrough with you. We actually had the advantage of being able to work on the house for a few weeks before we actually moved in, just like painting and flooring and stuff. And every time we did that, we would bring Rowan with us, and we had a pack and play that we just left at the house, and he got used to taking naps here in his pack and play. I think it really helped him because he hasn't been a lot of places because he's a pandemic baby. Typically whenever we go somewhere new, as soon as we set him down, he will scream his little head off because he's scared. He doesn't know where he is. And I think having that time with us here helped him to get used to the space. Another tip that I have is to stick to your nap time and bedtime routine. One thing that I learned early on is to utilize all 5 senses when you're putting your baby down for bed. So you have something that simulates their taste, touch, smell, etc. And you want this to be exactly the same in the new space as it was in the old space. So for example, with us, the smell is the smell of his baby lotion, which we used to give him a massage every night. The sound is his sound machine. The sight is his nursery, which I'll get into in a second. The taste is milk. And then the touch is Rowan's Zen Sack from Nested Bean. And I have to say a huge thank you to Nested Bean for sponsoring this portion of today's video. If you haven't heard me already rave about how much I love the Zen Sack in my newborn sleep tips video, I'll give you a quick little refresher. This is what it looks like. It's very, very cute. This is from their new spring line in this beautiful lemon color, which is actually my favorite color of all time, which might surprise some people because you think that it would be beige, but no, I actually love pale yellow. The concept of this is basically that it has this lightly weighted portion on the chest, and depending on the size of your baby and the size of the Zen Sack, it's from 1 to 5 ounces, so it's super safe. It's not gonna put any like bad pressure on them. This is safe to use for both tummy and back sleepers. So for Rowan, he likes to sleep on his stomach, so we put this part on his back and it helps him feel like we just have a hand on him. Nested Bean has a ton of different products. They have a swaddle and then the sack, and I believe they also have like sleepwear. We started out using the swaddle when Rowan was really little, and then we switched to the Zen Sack when he started rolling over. And we saw such a difference in his sleep when we started using these because it just made him feel so much safer. And it's kind of like the concept of a weighted blanket. It like lowers your anxiety and made him feel like mom and dad were there. So he was getting longer stretches of sleep, more quality sleep, and then in turn was less fussy during the day, which was amazing. This has a 2-way zipper, which if you have a baby that's not sleeping through the night yet, or even if they are sleeping through the night just for in the mornings, the 2-way zipper is amazing for diaper changes. It also has these little adjustable snaps up here, so this actually grows with your baby. Rowan's been using it for over 3 months already, and he's not gonna grow out of it anytime soon because I can just go like that and then it's a little bit bigger. It's 100% cotton too, so it's really soft, which is obviously great. And they come in sizes from 0 to 24 months. So no matter what age your baby is, all the way up to 2, Nested Bean has you covered. And Nested Bean is actually giving you guys a coupon code. So if you want to get the Magic Zen Sack, you can use code Megan15 for 15% off all full price purchases at nestedbean.com. So yeah, we keep this as part of his nighttime routine and also as part of his nap routine, and it just helps him to have something familiar. You could also tie this into the scent as well. If you use like a scented laundry detergent, make that familiar for them. So that's the pre-move stuff at the new space. I also want to talk about the pre-move stuff at your current space. So while you're packing and everything, one of the things that we did is we packed Rowan's room last. So in order to avoid any kind of disruption for him, we kept his space as undisturbed as possible so that it wasn't just like tons of big boxes everywhere. He could look out of his crib and see his room set up the way that it was set up. I obviously took all the toys off of the shelves and stuff, but we left all the furniture and the artwork on until the last minute. One thing that was essential for us during the packing process was to have multiple like safe spaces for him to be put down in. So we had his jolly jumper, we had his activity center, and we had his playpen with his play mat on the bottom. And those were places where we knew, you know, we were keeping them clear of any packing materials. He was safe and contained, and when he would get fussy, we would switch. So if he was in the activity center for a while, say, and he got fussy, we would switch him to the jolly jumper before he got hysterical, like just when he started to fuss. And that kind of like redirection gave us more time to pack. We also talked him through everything that we were doing as we were doing it, and kind of just narrated the packing process. I don't know how much of this he actually understood. I mean, there's definitely some stuff that he understands now of what we say to him, but they say that talking to your baby and explaining things is one of the best things that you can do for their brain and language development anyway. So it was really easy to just be like, now mommy's packing her closet. I'm gonna take the shirt off the hanger and literally break it down step by step by step. And I think that it helped him understand that something was happening, that something was going to be different. Because again, the last thing that you want is for it to just be like a night and day switch for them. You want to transition them slowly. Then came moving day. We were lucky enough that we had my in-laws to be able to help us watch him. So he was with somebody familiar while we were doing all of the loading up the truck and unpacking and all of that. If you've seen the moving vlog, you've probably seen this already, but the biggest thing that we did to help him adjust to his new room was to set up his furniture the exact same way as it was set up in his nursery at our apartment, even though it didn't work for the layout of the room. So we actually had to put his crib in front of the closet door, so we couldn't access the closet, but that way it was the same kind of setup where you would walk in the door and the crib was right there on the right side, and then from his crib he had the exact same view. So he was like, okay, there's my dresser to my right, there's the rocking chair, there's my bookcase, and obviously like the flooring was different, but the paint color was the same, so it probably felt pretty similar to him. I will say that he slept really well. I think the first night we were here, he woke up once. Second night didn't wake up at all. Third night woke up once, and he's been sleeping through pretty much ever since. After about 4 or 5 days of that, then we started moving the furniture. And again, we did it kind of slowly, piece by piece, and his crib was the last thing that we moved over to the opposite wall. And again, it just kind of eased him into it, got him used to a new layout, and I think it made him feel really safe that we did it that way. And then the same thing with the nighttime and nap time routines. We kept all of his other routines exactly the same as they were at the apartment. So his morning routine stayed exactly the same steps, same order. We used his same tub inside the bathtub here, like the little plastic baby tub. Same smells. We didn't introduce any new foods during this time. We only gave him foods that we knew he liked and that he was comfortable with already, just because we were trying not to overload him with too much change at once. Another thing that I would highly recommend is to kind of throw your wake windows out the window. No pun intended. So instead of being like, okay, my baby has to have 3-hour wake windows, listen to your baby's sleepy cues, because there's a lot of stimulation going on around them and they might get tired more quickly because of it. So Rowan in the morning is only up for like 2 hours usually now. And then we put him down when he starts yawning and rubbing his eyes and showing all his sleepy cues. That way he's not overtired and he doesn't refuse his naps because he's overtired and cranky. And then the last thing that we did to help him feel comfortable in the new space was to do a lot of like walking tours around the house. And this is something that our pediatrician and like the Love Every play kits that we get had mentioned before to just do as part of regular life, because it's really good, again, to narrate things that you're doing with your baby and to let them learn about cause and effect. So we would walk him around the house and tell him about each room and what we did in each room and what we like stored in each room. We let him play with the light switches, obviously supervised, like in our arms, and turn them on and off and see like, oh, if I press this button, like the light comes on. And we did that every single day for like a week, and now we do it every couple of days just as like a refresher. Now we're just working on teaching him about the different safety hazards in the new house. Like we have fireplaces in this house and they're gas, but obviously like the glass part of it gets really hot. Probably should get fireplace grates or like screens, I mean, for it, but for now we're teaching him like no, and he knows what that means and he'll stop. But yeah, he's very familiar with the space now. I was honestly prepared for a longer nap strike. We struggled with naps the most in that first week. The nighttime sleep was still pretty good, but it resolved itself really quickly, so very happy about that. So that is gonna be it for this video. I hope this was helpful for you if you're moving or you're in a new space and you're trying to help your baby adjust. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you here as a member of my community. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you a lot, and I'll see you all in my next video.